Whatever. Hi, this is Alicia from WSU Wrestling. I listen to One Wrestling Radio, and I'm a part of the VOC Wrestling Nation.
One Wrestling Radio, heard worldwide at OneWrestlingRadio.com. Tonight is JCW Up in Smoke Juggalo Championship Wrestling. Our favorite indie, Violent J, on the line right now from the Insane Clown Posse. Woot woot, Violent J.
Woot woot. What's the haps, man? How you guys doing this afternoon?
Excellent, excellent. And I just want to say, I want to thank you for coming back on because we had you scheduled a couple weeks ago. A couple things happened behind the scenes before your last pay-per-view. I got a slew of emails complaining to me, and you were nice enough to come back on for One Wrestling Radio and the voice of Choice Wrestling Nation, and we appreciate it.
Hell yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for having me, you know. And anytime something happens behind the scenes that causes any sort of reschedule or anything, you know, we apologize. It gets real hectic, but thank you very much for having me on here again, man.
No problem, Jay. And again, we think you guys at JCW doing a fantastic job. You got the iPay-per-view coming tonight, 420, Up in Smoke, psychopathiclive.com at 7:30. And you guys, I want to ask you a question because TNA kind of started by doing this weekly pay-per-view thing. You guys are doing bi-weekly. Are you trending in the same fashion? Are you trying to do these things to kind of get your hooks out there and maybe secure a long-term TV deal somewhere?
You know what? That's really not our goal right now. You know, being totally honest, it's not something we're shooting for. It's definitely something we'd be up to talk about with somebody or something like that. But you know, just being honest, there's some foul language in our product, you know, and I think Juggalos, you know. Basically, what I'm trying to say is we don't like to be restricted, you know, and we don't set out to have foul language or anything like that. It just happens. And the only thing is with the TV deal, we know that would involve being restricted, you know. And the other thing about our shows is we feature a live performance on every show, on every internet pay-per-view we do. We have a live performance, and you know, in this sometimes there's swear words in that performance as well, you know, but if we were to secure some kind of TV deal, that would be hella cool. That would be awesome. But it would also involve us toning it down a bit. And I think that's one of the qualities is the freedom we have. We're allowed to say and do and show exactly what we please. And that keeps our product it keeps our painting exactly the way we painted it without any outside modifications. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and I think your fans love that. You guys are really true to who you are. And from the very first time that we had you guys on the show, I think the first time it was you and Corp Robinson together, we just had an outpouring of ICP and JCW fans that really come to us every single week looking for more. So, I mean, it's very good that you guys are true to who you are, true to your fans, and I think they respect that a whole lot because not a lot of promotions actually do that, and we see that all the time.
Well, yeah, and we don't want to disrespect them, you know. And like I said, we don't set out to have an extreme amount of blood or to have cussing in our shows or anything like that. It's not our goal. It's not a necessity. But if it does come up, we don't want to be restricted. You know what I mean? We want our shows to be what they are, and we don't want to have Big Brother standing over us and censoring us in any kind of way or anything like that. We think that's one of the beauties of our promotion is the freedom of it. You know, the fact that it's underground, and it's a lot like our music. You
right.
know, same thing happens with our music. You know, we're allowed to like I said, we're allowed to paint our picture exactly how we want, and you know, if we were to go on the radio or to be to have a hit song or something on national radio or MTV or VH1 or something like that, obviously we would have to you know, change some things about some of our music, you know, and that's the beauty of being underground is the freedom to and also to offer something different, you know.
Well, you know what, Jay? The other thing is that Internet's a growing media. You see more and more things. I mean, we started this thing as just a radio show, and now I think our podcast version of this show is more popular than the actual show on the air. We broadcast in Philadelphia on 1360 WNJC, but the actual podcast gets tons more, traction than the radio show. So I think that you might be doing the right thing with the Internet media anyway.
Look at that! Look at how the world's changing. Look at how things are changing so fast. I mean, things are changing so fast that nowadays, I mean, you know, coming from where we come from, the music industry, the record labels, giant record labels are going out of business left and right, you know, and people are making a name for themselves on the internet, all on their own, by their own rules and by their own standards, and I think it's great, you know. It definitely hurt a lot of DVD sales, and it hurt a lot of record sales and CD sales, but you know what? The benefits are there as well, you know. I'm excited about all the changes. I'm excited about everything that's happening in the world and the way the whole structure is changing, and I think it gives the underdog a chance to be just as strong as these corporate giants. You know, I'm excited about it all, and I love the internet and the possibilities that open up for the little guy with the help of the internet. You know, you just look at things like YouTube. You don't have to submit your videos to MTV, you know, or anything like that. Look what happened with that CZW spot with the Egyptian hypnotizing spot, how that thing went viral. Look at all the attention that brought to CZW.
Right.
You know, I think that's great. You know, I think opportunities like that are jumping up left and right, and you don't have to necessarily beg for it or scratch anybody else's back. You know, you can kind of get there on your own if your product is exciting enough and interesting enough, you know?
Absolutely. Jay, I want to ask you, you guys, in my opinion, have done such a great job and probably the model for any indie in mixing established stars with some of your own young guys. So like guys like Rhino and Raven, Vampiro, they come in and they mix with guys like Congo Kong and the Weed Man. Is that something that you're conscious of, keeping your own guys in the forefront and not letting them get overshadowed by some more national talent?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I hate to keep bringing up the music industry, but it's a lot like what we've done with music. You know, it's like if a guy's brand new and he's just starting off in the world of music and he does a song with a platinum artist, it brings credibility to that new guy. You know, if he's got a platinum artist rapping on his album, it brings credibility to him. And it's the same thing if a guy like the Weed Man or Congo Kong, somebody is starting off and they're getting in there and they're tangling with the likes of Raven or Sabu or Vampiro, you know, it brings credibility to them, especially if they get a victory on them or something like that, you know. And we're real aware of what that does, but also we're real selective of the stars we bring in. You know, they also have to kind of fit the mold of what we believe is cutting edge and cool. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys, you know, another thing is we want people to understand what JCW is about. You know, the wrestler himself doesn't have to live the Juggalo lifestyle or look the part of the role or anything like that, but he has to respect it. Whether he's a face or a heel, he has to have a good understanding of what a Juggalo is and respect it in order to even have fun in JCW, you know. And any guy we use, you can bet 9 times out of 10 they have a good understanding of what it is we're doing and who our audience is. And, you know, and that's the one thing I want to say. I don't want to keep babbling, but the one thing I want to say about Juggalos is I know there's a lot of people out there that might be listening and thinking, well, I'm not a Juggalo, so I could never be part of that. But that's exactly what a Juggalo is. A Juggalo means nobody's excluded, everybody's included, you know? A Juggalo means everybody's allowed in. Nobody, you know, that's the beauty of being a Juggalo. Nobody's rejected, you know? No matter where you're from or who you are, it's the freedom to be yourself. That's what the whole term Juggalo means, is that, you know, everybody fits in, no matter who you are or where you're from or how you dress or what you like or what you listen to. A Juggalo is about being yourself and being you and being accepted in with wide open arms. You know, after all, look at us. We're clowns, you know. If some clowns can get over, that pretty much means anybody can get over. You know what I'm saying? And that's what being a Juggalo is. So if there's anybody out there listening thinking, well, JCW sounds like a fun place or a fun promotion, but it's not my thing, I think you'd be surprised, you know, because that's what a Juggalo means. Is it's for everybody, and it is your thing. And if you're the kind of guy that places restrictions on people or what they're like, then maybe this isn't your type of thing, you know. But if you're an open-minded person and you're not quick to judge people, this is exactly your thing, because that's what we do, you know. It's freedom to be you, yourself, and it shows in the ring, it shows in the audience, and it's all about a good time, you know?
Absolutely, Jay. And you said it so well, and I think that's why, I hate to keep saying this, but that's why your fans respect you. That's why you have such a strong, I don't want to say cult, but it is like a cult following. You have a strong, loyal fan base, and they're rabid. They come out every single week, and every time that you guys are on, we get tons of emails and traction about it. So, I mean, you guys do a great job in staying true to who you are.
You know, and that's why we love you guys. You guys are supporting us. You guys acknowledge us. You know, and that's wonderful for us, you know. As you guys are well aware, there's a lot of people that won't touch us, that won't talk about us. That you know, I think maybe the music scares people away. You know, I think maybe the content of some of our music scares people away, and that's a shame because in reality, we're no different than TNA in the fact that, well, we're a lot different than TNA, but we're no different in than TNA in the fact that we're owned and operated pretty much by musicians, you know. I mean, Dixie Carter was a musician herself, sang country music, and when we went to her office, we saw gold records on the wall, just like at our office, you know, and I think people respect TNA as a wrestling company. Whether they like it or not, they still respect it as the real deal, and that's what we want to be. We want to be acknowledged. We want to be respected. You know, we don't want the fact that ICP says this in our music or throws Fago on everybody. We don't want that to drive people away from JCW because JCW is operated by people who love wrestling, who love pro wrestling, who respect pro wrestling, and even though it may be owned by Jay and Shaggy, it's definitely operated and ran by people who love and respect wrestling, you know? And you guys showing us love, you know, we'll always remember that no matter where we go in the future because it takes somebody brave and with an open mind and an open heart to even acknowledge us, and you guys are doing it, and we'll remember that forever, and that's why you guys are juggalos. You may not even know it.
hey, we're proud to be juggalos, Jay.
You know, we're not trying to be the number 3 or 4 or 5 promotion in the country. Honestly, we're not even in this for that. We're in this because we want to be considered one of the better promotions out there, one of the more serious promotions out there. You know, our world champion defends his belt in a JCW ring, you know, I couldn't tell you exactly, but at least 80 times a year,
right.
You know, and all over the country. And we want him, you know, just to throw it out there as an example, we want him to at least make the PWI 500 instead of just being totally excluded from it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying little things like that. We just want to be included in the game. You know, I think a lot of times we're skipped over and ignored, and it takes somebody really, really decent with an open mind to even acknowledge us. And you guys in the wrestling world, and 1wrestling.com, you guys are the first ones to really acknowledge us like that. And, you know, we thank you for that. We really do. We really, really do. And Bill Apter, he's been nothing but great to us, man, and we can't thank all you guys enough, man.
Vince McMahon, a couple weeks ago in L.A. in the Los Angeles Times, took the wrestling out of WWE, and is that a little bit offensive to you?
I don't really understand that at all. I think about that a lot. I don't know what his gripe is against the word wrestling. You know, I think that hurts a lot of people that have loved it a long time. I guess, you know, wrestling isn't, in America, it's not the most popular sport. It has sort of a reputation as being very much a blue-collar thing, you know, and
right.
Sort of, you know, I hate to say it, but sort of has a scrubby reputation. You know, you don't read about wrestling very much in, like, Pro Wrestling Illustrated or hear about it on ESPN, and I think he's trying to change that. But at the same time, I think he should be proud of what wrestling is, and I think he should respect and be proud of it and stand behind it and try to change it from that end instead of trying to run from it, what it is. I think you should stand behind it and try to change the public's opinion of it instead of trying to disguise it and rename it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely, Jay. And speaking of wrestling, JCW Up in Smoke tonight on 420 on iPay-per-view, psychopathiclive.com, 7:30. Make sure you go out and watch this. It's only $5. So, Jay, thank you so much for being on One Wrestling Radio.
Hell yeah. Whoop, whoop, 2 whoops for everybody. Much clown love.